How do you stand out? How do you make sure that people see you, see your CV, get to know you? How do you go from being unknown to known to liked to be trusted? That is the journey you need to go on when you apply for a role. So basically, so many people write their CVs in a way that just is, a block of text and another block of text, another block of text, and that shows their career advancement. So but what's not happening in that process is you're not really demonstrating the value that you bring to the table as a person, as an individual, in terms of your soft skills and everything else. There's so much more to you as an individual that needs to jump off of the front page when you create a CV. That is how you stand out from the crowd, by being clear about the value that you bring to the table to a certain role with a certain organization. When you can do that in the front page of your CV, the advert of your CV, that is when you stand out. That is when you align with the organization and the role, and you will get more interviews. Hi, I'm Gary Collins, and I'm a headhunter and also an executive career coach. And this is what this series that I'm doing here is called Headhunter Tips. So this is another one of those Headhunter Tips. And today we really are looking at how you can stand out from the crowd. What makes the difference in terms of getting more interviews? So look, all of these calls are just about 3 or 4 minutes long, just to give you some really pertinent information. So what you need to do to stand out is, first and foremost, you need to be absolutely clear about who and what you are, who you are as a professional, what you bring to the table, what the value is, your value proposition. You need to identify that, and once you've got that value proposition, then you can start to build into the front page so that you get noticed. And that all might sound a bit like pie in the sky. What on earth am I talking about? But it's quite simply, when you do that clarity exercise, you decide that this is my experience, these are my qualifications, these are my soft skills, this is what I bring to the table. And what you really do is build out your perfect job spec. Now, when you do that, then you can look at yourself as a candidate and go, well, okay, so what do I bring? How can I fill that role? And when you do that and you build out the perfect candidate spec for that particular role, then what happens is you now start to build up the value proposition that you bring to a certain kind of organization in a certain role. And then you create a CV, that front page of your CV, that demonstrates all of that right from the start. Now, when you send your CV to someone like me, a headhunter or an in-house recruiter, whoever, the first thing they're going to be looking at is what they're going to have certain criteria, in their mind about what they are looking for. So, number of years experience, kind of organization you've worked for, what is your job title, what was your job title, what job title are you looking for, and all of these things are effectively hooks. So once you know what that organization is looking for, that individual is looking for when they're looking at your CV, then you can build those hooks into your CV. So that comes from the most obvious place, the job spec. The job spec is an insight into exactly what that organization is looking for. So what you need to do is align with that job spec. Now, if you've created that perfect job spec for yourself, then obviously every time you apply for a role, you are going to be applying for the same role. So this is something else that people say to me all the time is, I send out my CV 100 times and I never get any responses. If you're doing that, basically your CV is not aligned with the kind of organization and role you're applying for. Quite simple. The other thing that people say is that they really are struggling to get feedback on their CV. Again, if you're quickly going into the no pile, the reason for that is you're not grabbing attention from the outset. So what you need to do is you need to have a hook in your CV. The very first line of your CV needs to hook the human reader in, because the human reader is going to give you 6 or 7 seconds when they're going through a CV. When I advertise a role, I'll get up to 200-300 applicants for that role. So I can only spend a very short amount of time really sifting through all those applications to decide, right, who am I going to spend some more attention on, the yes pile, and who is not. So if you haven't hooked my attention in that first 6 seconds, you're going on the no pile. It's that simple. So you need to have that first line needs to hook them in. Then underneath that, your profile needs to continue to align with that organization, continue to align with that role, to demonstrate the soft skills that you bring that would be aligned with that kind of role. So all of these things are massively, because they're more hooks. Every time you hook the human reader, you get another 6 or 7 seconds of their attention. So ultimately, by the time they get to that front page, your advert, your CV advert, once they get to the bottom of that front page, where everything in it aligns with that organization, you are going on the yes pile. But not only that, if they've got to the bottom of that front page and it is hugely aligned with their organization and the role, you're probably already being given an interview. just from the front page of your CV. It's not difficult to achieve. So look, that's the few things I want to just touch on today, is really being clear about building that value proposition from that clarity into your CV, putting the hooks into that front page, creating a front page that is your advert. If you do that, you will absolutely get more interviews. There is no two ways about it. So as you know, I do a number of these headhunter tips. So I'm going to be touching on things like clarity, how to do a clarity exercise. I'm going to be touching on things about how to really build out that front page of your CV, and many other tips as well. So look, thanks for jumping onto this headhunter tips today. Follow me, please. Click on the follow button below, then you'll be made aware every time I release one of these, because all of these are going to be sort of being targeted to help people just to be, the must-hire candidate, to become the candidate that gets noticed and gets the interview. And then as I go through the process, we'll sort of start to talk about how to use LinkedIn, how to position yourself on LinkedIn, how to obviously turn up and interview particularly well. So look, there ends today's Headhunter tips. I hope you've enjoyed it and got some useful insights. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks very much. Take care.